What's going on, everybody? Welcome to What the Funcast, episode 91, recorded and released today, PlayStation Day, officially in the calendar, September 16th, 2020, our year from hell. I'm one of your hosts, Paul, and joining me is the Hatted Man.
Liz, I'm just the Hatted Man, the Mad Hatter. Just say it. I know you wanted to.
No, it's the Hatted Man. It's like an offbeat. It's like the Mad Hatter you'd find at the flea market. The Hatted Man.
Dollar store Mad Hatter.
Dollar store Mad Hatter.
Listen,
all right, let's jump right into it. We got an action-packed episode. Even though Ahmed thinks that we're missing news, that's okay.
I didn't say we're missing news. I just thought that we should have a well-rounded episode. But the meat and potatoes of it all is the PlayStation 5.
It's like the meat, the potatoes, and like most of the broth. Like there's just a couple spices in there too.
There's like some salt and pepper on there.
Right,
some
the
paprika,
salt and pepper is the remaining news.
Garlic powder, onion powder. Anyways.
All right, you have done a lot more than I have this week. I don't really think I've done anything, which I don't know. I'm having I don't know, short-term memory loss here. Can't remember anything I did for the past week. So anyway, why don't you walk us through what have you done? You watched Mulan finally? Yes.
I watched Mulan finally. It was fine. I didn't think it was.
It was fine, or did you not like it?
I didn't hate it. I'm very like middle ground, like 2.5 out of 5 about it. Like neutral. I don't know. Like when you're answering those surveys and it's like, I don't know, has no response. That's me. I'm like, I don't know. It was fine.
No response, please.
Like I didn't hate watching it. Like I didn't. It wasn't like a waste of my time. Like it was fun to watch, but it wasn't. I don't know. I feel like I had put a lot more faith into this being a much more exciting adaptation, considering that it wasn't going to be a musical. And I think this is the first of the live action. Well, I guess if you count Jungle Book, then no. But considering it's like one of the first kind of princess, so to speak, she's not really a princess kind of movies. She's not a princess. You gave me a look like she was.
No, I mean she sits among the Disney. I'm pretty sure she's considered in the Disney princess line.
Yeah, I think she's considered but in the movie she's not technically a princess. But you know what I mean. Like of those movies, like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and whatnot, like and Cinderella, this was like not a musical, and I don't know. Yeah,
Cinderella wasn't a musical either.
I haven't seen Cinderella.
It's actually pretty good.
The forgotten underdog.
It was true. I think it was like literally the first one that they made was Cinderella.
It was, yeah. But I don't know, like it was fine. I thought the visual effects seemed really cheesy, and the editing seemed kind of cheesy. The script was kind of cheesy, but it wasn't like terrible. I think it's worth the watch, but it's not worth paying the $30 for. I would just wait until it's. If you haven't seen it yet, I would wait until it's released on Disney Plus. Normally as a free.
Yeah,
thing.
I would definitely agree with that, and I think it was definitely enjoyable. I don't know, we really enjoyed it. It was, I don't know. I didn't go in with my my Oscars nomination clipboard, so I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was what it was.
Yeah, I'll say Aladdin was a lot better, a lot more exciting to watch. I liked Aladdin a lot more. So.
Yeah, but if you compare it to The Lion King, I think it was much better than The Lion King.
So. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, The Lion King was like completely devoid of any emotion. It was just sad.
He said it was devoid.
It was miserable. Anyways, besides Mulan, I have now officially finished season 2 of Legend of Korra, so I'm good halfway through there. Enjoying it so much so far. Played more Horizon Zero Dawn. Making significant progress, I think. I haven't checked my percentage of completion yet, but I hope to have it beaten sooner rather than later, because I have a lot more games to play. I have every time when we'll talk about all these like showcases and things that come up, but every time I see them I'm like, wow, I need to update all my like games to play list, and my games to play list is pretty significant. Not that I'll ever play any of them. Anyways.
I gotta like sit down and really make a games to play list, because I think I've just got so many games to play that
you forget what you own.
It's overwhelming, yeah. Yes. It's like, okay, what was I going to play again?
Exactly. I've made like essentially a queue for myself of like, I don't know, kind of like my Netflix list, but like a queue of all these games that I like own, so I don't forget that I own them, because a lot of times I'll like buy them on sale and then I won't remember that I'll be like, do I actually own that? Who knows? Or like, what platform do I own it on? Because I'll think I don't own a game, and then it turns out I do own it on like Wii U. And I'm like, who the hell? Why did I do that? But
right,
there's probably good reason in the past.
Well, we did play though together. We did play Ticket to Ride, which I don't know if we ever talked about on this show.
I don't think we did. Maybe we did. I don't know. Control F-ing for Ticket to Ride.
Oh, we did. Episode 89.
Oh, okay. Well, we played again. It's a lot of fun this time. Second time around.
It is.
Yeah, it's I think we talked about how it's like crossplay on like Steam and mobile and everything, but at least on mobile, it makes it look very confusing, like in that you have to pay, $3 for every single expansion. But if you buy one of them, you get like almost all of them. So we got a bunch of the expansions, I guess, for $3 extra, bringing the total that we spent $10, and it's absolutely worth it. I think it's a ton of fun, and it's really
I didn't realize that either, though.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that it was only $3 to get all those expansions. So yes, it was definitely cool. Definitely definitely good to do.
Yes, but I think what we really need to play is Among Us, because that's the new hot internet item. Like everyone's talking about. There's all these memes about it. Like it kind of blew up. It's a game from 2 years ago, but we really need to play it. It's free on mobile, I believe, and it's kind of like a mafia game. Like everyone's in a spaceship and there's like imposters, and you have to weed out who the imposters are. So it seems like a lot of fun, and it's free. So there's literally no harm in trying it out. But the internet seems to love it, so I think we should try it out.
So let me rock your world. So if you look up a game called Werewolves Within on PSVR, it's essentially the same idea, and but it's like online and you play it in VR.
And everyone plays in VR?
Well, it's an online game, so yeah, technically everybody that's playing
everyone has to have
their
a
headset
PS
on.
VR. Well,
Yeah. So no, I hear you. Obviously, it's not something that like would be good for our friends because not everybody has PSVR, but just that idea has been reused so many times. It's a good idea, and their games are a lot of fun. But
yeah, I mean,
anyway.
Werewolves Within has like a 6 out of 10 on IGN, so I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that like really enjoy it. And then there's another. I thought there was another game. Anyways, well, you know what? Enough babbling. Let's jump right into it. It is 7
He
minutes
said,
in.
"You know what? Anyways,
I don't know.
enough
I don't know
speaking."
anything about games. But what I do know is that we have talked so long about PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X / also the S, and we have talked and talked and talked. We haven't had a price. We haven't had a release date. We haven't had much detail, and now we finally know everything. Well, a lot about both systems. So we covered all the leaks. I think that was last episode 90. Yes, we ran through all of the leaks with the Xbox Series S, which then turned out to be the leak of the Xbox Series X. Earlier this week, the actual videos that were going to air announcing all of the fundamental announcements, the groundbreaking announcement with EA Play joining Game Pass, and all those announcements were supposed to come in this video. The video leaked out in its entirety since it never came to fruition, which was pretty much, I think it was like the VP of marketing or someone prominent in Xbox's marketing department was pretty much doing like a walkthrough with Phil Spencer and some other folks going through talking about the Xbox Series S, talking about what it's capable of, saying that I guess it was like 2 times more powerful than the Xbox One X. So lots of detail. The video ended up leaking out online. It never premiered in its entirety. It was just a series of tweets that replaced it with all the announcements, obviously being accelerated by the Brad Sams leak on the Xbox Series S. So then Sony came out and said, hey, what was it, like Friday, Thursday? They're like, hey, we got an event coming up September 16th, PS5 Media Showcase.
I want to say it was announced over the weekend, because we were waiting on Thursday and Friday with bated breath for something to happen.
You're right.
Nothing.
Maybe it was like Saturday.
Yeah. And then they were like, okay, we'll do an event next week. We promise. I'm like, okay, bet. Here we are.
So of course we freaked out. I freaked out. I'll speak for myself. Ahmed, I'm sure, freaked out too. And then we knew that we would get all the details. And sure enough, we did. And we'll get into it in a minute here. Well, a lot of minutes. But a lot of information came out after the event too, which is interesting. So, all right. So let's get out of the way. PS5 is going to be $499 for the disc version and $399 for the digital version, launching November 12th, which is just 2 days after Xbox.
I want to say I called it, but I don't remember what prices I set on this episode specifically.
So I think we pinned it in our Discord. Let me go look.
Yeah, but that was just a few days ago. I feel like I've made different predictions at different times of my life. Like a month ago, I was like,
if you guess every price, then you're good.
Right? I've made all these predictions, but most recently I was thinking, like after the Xbox announcement specifically, I was like, it's going to be 400, 500.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. So I think that Xbox forced them to go down. Like I was legitimately shocked to see that we had a $400 digital edition. Yeah. But we know kind of the talk track behind that, or the logic behind that, right? Where Sony's making more money off of any game that you buy on a digital edition is going into Sony's pocket. It's not going into, Amazon. I mean, they sell digital codes and stuff like that, but the bulk of the people are going to go into the PlayStation Store and buy their games straight from the PlayStation Store. So
yeah, digital codes are almost never discounted on third-party retailers. It's very, very rare for them to be. I know you said like Walmart started matching their digital code prices, but I don't think that that's the standard. It might be in the future, who knows? But digital codes are almost never discounted, so you're almost always getting a better deal because the PlayStation Store will have like its own little sales every once in a while.
Right, and there's times that the PlayStation Store sale, like the discount, the discounted prices will be matched by Amazon and GameStop like that. Like if it's a big enough sale, they'll match their codes, which like they do that a lot with Nintendo.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're getting a lot of their. I mean, it's awesome because you're getting a fully featured console for $400, as opposed to with the Xbox Series X, you're getting a weaker one. So it's
Xbox
exciting.
Series
to see.
S.
I said S. Did I not?
You said X.
Oh, maybe you just heard wrong.
I heard it with my ears. You said it wrong.
Anyways, so this was a super exciting event. They had their whole PS5 showcase today, and so I guess we can go through really quick like what they showed. It was only about 40 minutes. They showed a few games, and then at the end was the price. But I guess we've spoiled the best part of it, so you can leave. I'm kidding. Don't leave.
Don't leave, please.
Please stay. All right, so presentation comes in hot with Final Fantasy 16 being announced. I'm an idiot, and I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, and I was like, is this a remake, or is this a new entry? Completely new entry in the Final Fantasy series. No date given. Interestingly to note, this was shown on PC hardware that was emulating the PS5 environment, so I thought that was a weird choice. Like, I wonder why they just didn't show this footage on a dev kit. But the rest of the show was all PS5 footage. I just thought that was weird. But it is coming to PC as well as PS5. But again, no date, so probably like, I don't know, 2023, given how long it took.
Honestly,
for Final
that's
Fantasy
exactly what I was
VII
going to
remake.
say.
Like,
right. So
forever.
the reason why this was shown on PC hardware is for that very reason, because it is so far out. I'd imagine this is probably going to be like a 2022 game, if anything.
I feel like it's going to be, even if it's announced to be 2022, it's going to be delayed. Like, these kind of games, Final Fantasy games are like notorious for being delayed for years.
Final Fantasy 15 literally like never came out, and then it finally came out. It's like it was like seeing the Loch Ness Monster, seeing that game come out. But what's interesting to note here is that not only it's console exclusive, but I think that this would have been a bigger splash had this not leaked out a couple days ago. Of there's rumblings that Final Fantasy 16 is going to be shown off at the PlayStation 5 event, and that kind of cat was out of the bag there. But still super exciting. Not a game for us, but for those that enjoy Final Fantasy, go off.
Right. It's coming. Next up, we got another look at Spider-Man Miles Morales. I guess we got a lot more gameplay this time, because before we just had a teaser. I don't think we ever had any gameplay. Looks absolutely excellent. I mean, it looks, not that the original didn't look excellent, it looks very similar to the original, but there's like ray tracing going on, and there's a lot more happening on screen, and there's a whole sequence where the bridge is like breaking, all these cars are falling and swinging around, and it just looks really, really good. This will be officially a launch game, coming to both PS4 and PS5, which is exciting. And we'll talk more about how that all works a little bit later. But just to continue going through the presentation here, we finally got an announcement of Hogwarts Legacy, which is exciting. The long rumored Harry Potter RPG is officially coming. It's cross-platform, I believe, on like basically every platform: PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and X, and PC.
You said cross-platform, like
not
cross-platform play?
Not cross-play, but I mean like available on all platforms. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Available on all platforms, including PC and Xbox and PlayStation. Coming 2021, looks pretty cool. I don't know. I think it looks good. I'm probably.
I was extremely hyped about this, and it's coming to pretty much every system you can imagine. It's coming to all the PlayStation console family members and all the Xbox console family members. So,
yes.
I don't know. I thought this looked really good. I got super hyped. Good to see that Rocksteady is in fact working on a Harry Potter game. There was that leaked footage a while back, and then it just they kind of went like radio silent, and we didn't hear anything about it. That was like literally hella long ago.
Do we know if this is going to be like an MMO of any sort, or is it just going to be like a single player kind of thing?
I don't know. I hope
I hope that it's single player. me, selfish, but I have a feeling that because it's such a popular franchise, people are going to want to play with their friends, and they're going to have kind of like a Marvel's Avengers kind of multiplayer aspect to it, where there's like microtransactions and whatnot, and that worries me. But
we'll see. I hope not. So it's funny. The leaked Harry Potter game footage came out in, let's see, October 11th, 2018. So this is 2 years later that we're now seeing something announced.
Wild. And it's still
the leaked footage looks hella good.
That's great. I mean, this
really hyped for
current
this.
trailer looks really good, but I'm surprised. Like 2 years ago, they had kind of like almost completed footage. That's insane.
Right.
Or maybe it was meant to be like a current generation game, and then they decided to push it out to next gen, and that's where that footage is from.
Which is weird because if they're releasing it for all of the current systems already, like why push it out?
I don't know. To increase fidelity.
One quick thing, going back, it's not Rocksteady, it's Avalanche.
Yeah, I was like, I don't recognize Rocksteady's name being on the cover.
Yeah. No, it's not Rocksteady. Sorry about that.
I trusted you, and you betrayed me.
And I failed you.
Wow, unbelievable. Anyways,
that's okay. What did they announce at Ubisoft Forward, man? Tell us. Tell all the people.
I will tell you later. Black Ops Cold War was next in the PlayStation 5 presentation. It'll be obviously cross-platform. It is a launch title. And the biggest announcement here is that there will be an alpha of the multiplayer available on PS4 exclusively this weekend, September 18th to the 20th. So if you're...
Oh, that was this weekend? That didn't click in my brain.
Yes, is this weekend alpha of the new multiplayer. So that's exciting.
I'll give that a try, and then I'll be like, Call of Duty really isn't for me still, huh?
It always looks cool and flashy, but yeah, it really isn't.
It does. It's like Reagan's in this one. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, the storyline's got to be pretty cool, and then it's going to be like an hour long. And it's
remember
like, okay,
Killzone 2?
Killzone 2.
I was
Did you ever play Killzone 2?
No, but I was like randomly going through like biggest E3 announcements and biggest E3 fails, and like went down a YouTube rabbit hole the other day, and it was like the Killzone 2 announcement because like remember that whole controversy where the trailer wasn't actual in-game footage and everyone was like, this game sucks, and it apparently didn't do too well, but it looked cool in the trailer, and that's what I feel like COD is like. But I don't know. They always review well, I guess. I
could tell you that I have never played a Killzone game.
Neither have I, and I kind of forgot it existed until that YouTube video came up. Anyways, next up was Resident Evil 8 Village, and it looks really scary. Cross-platform, I believe. They didn't announce that it was PS5 exclusive in any capacity. Coming 2021.
No, yeah. Actually, what's interesting about Resident Evil Village / Resident Evil 8 is that there is rumor that they were having problems getting it to run on PS5 efficiently. Like it was running very well on Xbox Series X, but in the last showcase that they gave or that they showed, Resident Evil Village, actually, remember we were talking about it and like looked choppy in the video, and we're like, what the hell game is this? Like it looks janky. Like, oh, maybe it's like Until Dawn, and that turned out to be Resident Evil. And we're like, what? Like that looked like you could actually see the frame rate dropping in the middle of the trailer.
I think I noticed that in this trailer today too. Like there was one specific scene where it like kind of like was panning through something, and I was like, that looks a little. I don't remember if it was for Resident Evil or if it was for another game, but I'm pretty sure it was Resident Evil.
I'm pretty sure it was Resident Evil.
Yeah, so
I think it happened to Final Fantasy a couple times too.
Oh, I wasn't paying too hard attention. Once I saw the emo hair, I was like, this is Final Fantasy. I'm good.
Minimize the window.
Basically. I was working. I was busy. So that's coming 2021. Deathloop was next, which we already know about this. This was previously announced and has been delayed to Q2 2021, but it's also coming to PC apparently. I don't know if we knew that before, but worth mentioning. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is coming to PS5 at launch digitally, and I guess it's just a remastered version. Oddworld Soulstorm, I still don't know what this is, but it looks weird as hell. It's kind of like a side-scrolling, like Lemmings type game is what it looks like. I don't really know what's going on. But it's PS5 and PC coming, apparently, according to, I don't know, I've been searching for 5 minutes to try to find where or when it's coming out. Everything says 2020, but there's no confirmed actual date, so who knows if it actually comes out this year. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was announced. This is the first announcement that we've seen for this game. No idea on what platform it's coming. I can only assume that it's coming to PC, given that the Five Nights at Freddy's series originated on PC. But I have no idea if it's coming to Xbox or anything like that. No date given there. And then finally, for the game's announcements, we got another look at Demon's Souls. coming exclusively to PS5 at launch. So that was our game showcase. And then finally, they wrapped up the show before the pricing thing with the PlayStation Plus collection. Or the announcement of the PlayStation Plus collection. So obviously with PlayStation Plus, every month you get free, your 2 free games for the month. And then after that month, you can no longer redeem them or whatever. So you kind of got to, make sure to get in. Just like, last month we got Fall Guys for free and now you have to buy it because it is no longer August. So with the PlayStation Plus collection, they've announced 18 titles that will be available to all subscribers of PlayStation Plus to download. A bunch of them are previously announced or were previously PlayStation Plus games, so they were already available to download through PlayStation Plus. But now it seems like they're just going to be available forever. And we'll see. I'm hoping that this list expands over time, and this is kind of, I'm assuming, their Game Pass Ultimate kind of competitor. So of the games announced, they are God of War, Last of Us. Wow, I can't speak. God of War.
He said The Last of Us Snackers.
Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, Ratchet & Clank, Persona 5, Detroit Become Human, Bloodborne, Until Dawn, Batman Arkham Knight, Fallout 4, Battlefield 1, Days Gone, Monster Hunter World, Final Fantasy 15, Mortal Kombat 10, and Resident Evil 7, which is an honestly really good lineup to all just be available for free. Obviously some of these games are a little older, like Last of Us for a PS3 era game, but all excellent games, to be honest. And except for Until Dawn. Until Dawn can choke.
So if you are paying attention, right, a lot of these are previously released PlayStation Plus games. So I don't know. I think this is a great benefit. I know there's a lot of criticism of like, oh, you could have gotten these for free on PlayStation Plus before if you redeemed over the past, I don't know, X number of years. But there are games in here like Persona 5, especially Final Fantasy 15, Resident Evil 7, Days Gone, especially too, that have not been released on PlayStation Plus.
Pretty sure Mortal Kombat hasn't been either. Because I would have.
Yeah, I don't think so. Or Arkham Knight for that matter. Or The Last Guardian actually.
Or
they're
there's a significant amount of games
or God of War.
Free.
Yeah, God of War as well.
Yeah.
So a considerable amount of games, right? I mean, maybe not, maybe a quarter of them, maybe not half of them, but still, this is great, and this is like a day one. As soon as you boot up your PS5 and you have PlayStation Plus, boom, you can download these 18 games, which I think is pretty cool because then, if you've got people that are buying, it's like that instant game collection that they gave a while back. I think it was on PS3 where you could download. I think it was like 4 games, like Little Big Planet was one of them, I think, and then I don't know, a couple other games, and they label it like the instant game collection where you buy your PS3 and then you automatically have your instant game collection through PlayStation Plus. Yeah. So is this a Game Pass Ultimate competitor? I would say hell no. I mean, it's a totally different playing field, I think.
Yeah.
You're talking about 18 titles versus over 100 and all the other benefits that come with PlayStation or Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So I think it's a little skewed, but anyway, I think
it is nice if this is someone's like first foray into the PlayStation ecosystem. Like if this is their first console, if this is someone switching over from Xbox One, or I don't know, like my nieces and nephews, this is gonna be like their first big console. So I think this is a great way for them to like have access to all these games without having to worry about having a PS4 or PS3 or whatever.
Exactly. For people that didn't have the chance to experience the PlayStation 4 titles and the huge library that it has, I think this is great. Because, you've got a little bit of everything here, right? You've got Uncharted 4. Now, the Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection is noticeably missing, but it's been offered for free so many times if you don't have it by now, or, if you're really a new person coming into it, then that's never had a PlayStation console before, then I understand. But
I also feel like it's always on sale for like $10. Like it
is. It is. But you've got like God of War, you've got Last of Us, you've got Ratchet & Clank, you've got Infamous, you've got The Last Guardian, Persona, Detroit, just so many different types of games. And then you've got your Battlefield if you want like a war type Call of Duty-ish game. You've got Final Fantasy if that's what you're into. You've got Resident Evil, which is a horror game. Batman Arkham Knight,
huge RPG.
I think that there's a lot of thought that went into this list of games. So I think this is super cool. It's really great for idiots like us that have like a million years of PlayStation Plus. So this is good.
Yeah.
So what I do want to jump into is I want to talk about kind of like what I labeled here as the aftershocks of what came after the announcements, right? So we had the big game showcase or the media showcase, whatever they called it, PS5 showcase. And there was a lot of questions. So we left the showcase not knowing when the pre-orders were going to go up because Microsoft explicitly said, hey, look, September 22nd, pre-orders are going up. Whereas Sony didn't really say anything. They said, hey, it's going to be $500 and $400. It releases November 12th. That's it.
Well,
so
they kind of did. So in the blog post that they posted right after the showcase, they said pre-orders will go up as early as tomorrow. And then,
so I'm curious if that actually happened because Jeff Keighley came out and said, I'm hearing that pre-orders are starting tomorrow at select retailers. And then he like quote tweeted, was like, actually, I'm hearing that some retailers are going to actually put it up for pre-order today. So if you guys remember, I don't even know if we talked about it actually, but Sony had done this like exclusive PlayStation pre-order thing where you were able to sign up for a chance to pre-order a PlayStation 5. And then I think we actually talked about it where the idea came around where, well, okay, is supply that constrained that they're going to limit the PS5 supply to only previously selected PSN members that are selected directly through Sony, that buy directly through Sony? Like, what does that look like? So that's obviously not the case. It's been going up at multiple retailers. So at this point, at the time of this recording, 10:12 p.m. on Wednesday, September 16th, it's gone up at every single retailer with the exception of Amazon.com. GameStop in stores pretty much sold out of their pre-orders. They went up at like 6:30 Eastern time, and once people caught wind, they went, rushed, got their pre-orders in, and that was done. So the pre-order numbers are something interesting, which I guess we can go into real quick, and then we'll go into the rest of the aftershocks. So pre-order numbers from the GameStop employees started getting around, and the all-digital version, the $400 version of the PS5, is supposedly very supply constrained. Obviously, Sony is not going to say anything about that. There's an article that came out last night saying that Sony had to cut their PS5 production because they couldn't yield the quantities that they were trying to, and whatever. They're shipping them over airline delivery, which is substantially more expensive than, I guess, the normal delivery methods that they use. So they're doing all these different things to make sure that the PS5 launches on time. That being said, the launch numbers or the pre-order reserve numbers were starting to come out from GameStop, which were saying like, okay, yeah, apparently my store got, whoever, people on the internet, my store got 15 disc units and 4 digital units. Or it was always like almost 75% less, almost across the board. And then as Ahmed and I sat at our computers, us keyboard warriors, trying to get our copies or get our systems, we went through and were watching. Sure enough, the all-digital version was selling out almost instantly, whereas the disc-based version had a little bit of a time behind it. Not much. Every website crashed. Best Buy crashed. GameStop crashed. Walmart was the first one to go up. So it was a very interesting experience, as it always is. Thankfully, it wasn't a 3 in the morning, all the retailers go up like the Switches were. But, so be it. Now, what's interesting, and why I kind of stuttered before, is because I'm seeing stuff being posted online that Sony is reaching out to people saying you've either been selected or not selected to buy a PlayStation through them.
Oh, they are reaching out to people now.
They are, as of minutes ago here. I just saw something pop on my Twitter feed, which is like, which is laughable because pre-orders are pretty much gone now at this point, unless you want to pay $750 for a bunch of a system and a bunch of crap that you don't need from GameStop, which I think even those have sold out by now. Mm-hmm. Which is the GameStop specialty. I mean, when the Xbox 360 and PS3 first came out, they were selling like these bullshit HD TVs bundled with the systems just to capitalize on the fact that they have the systems available.
I think that's why. Well, are those bundles always the disc version or the discless version?
I have to look.
Because I'm thinking, at least for the GameStop numbers, the reason that they have such low numbers is because they're reserving a bunch of, I was going to say copies of the system, they're not copies, a bunch of units for these bundles because they know that they're, the limited stock that they have of the digital version where they like 4 at one store, that's going to sell out and people are going to be like, oh, well, I need to get it, so I guess I'll just go for this $800 bundle that has a bunch of stuff that I don't need, like a TV or a headset or whatever the hell it is. They always like bundle like a gift card with it. Like they're just trying to get you to spend more money because they know that people are going to be, frothing at the mouth to try to get these pre-orders secured. So I don't know. Right. It's crazy times out there.
So the bundles that they had available at the time, so they had like a $880 bundle with the disc version where it came with 12 months PlayStation Plus, Destruction All-Stars.
Destruction All-Stars?
Yes, Spider-Man Miles Morales and the headset and a charging kit. Which, I mean, they're all, like, at least the official accessories. Like, all this stuff is official from PlayStation.
Yeah.
Whereas they usually try to slide in, like, the Afterglow controller and, like, all this other nonsense that doesn't sell. I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, hey, take this Fortnite plush, too, for full price.
Honestly, that's what happened when I got my GameCube. My first console that I purchased with my own money. I got it from EB Games, and it was some, like, random-ass bundle, and I had, like, a carrying case so I could carry my GameCube like a backpack. It was so dumb. It was like,
you got taken advantage of.
I did. It was like play school color too. Anyways.
Oh no. Anyways, is right. So the other stuff that came out of the PlayStation blog, a lot of good information. Well, a lot of information. Some of it good, some of it not so good. So games are officially $70 now, $69.99. As Ahmed said, read it and weep. But they also confirmed the launch lineup from Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, which I don't know why you wouldn't release that in the actual press conference, because this is all, I'd say, fairly good news.
I don't think this is the full launch lineup, though. There's no way that there's just going to be these 6 games on the shelf.
No. So there's going to be third party. This is just from Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. Yeah. So these are just the games that Sony is like the first party developer for. So, Ash, it's not I guess, it's I know.
I know.
Ahmed's like, anyways.
Know. It's just not maybe it is exciting. Who knows? There's one exciting game for me, at least. Go on.
Okay. All right. You going to let me talk or what?
No.
Okay.
Interruption.
So,
I'm sorry. Go on.
He can see the rage in my eyes. All right. So, we've talked about this before. Astro's Playroom is going to be pre-installed on all PS5s. Demon's Souls was confirmed to be a launch game with a suggested retail price of $69.99. Destruction All-Stars, this was the game that kind of looked like Twisted Metal, kind of, where I think there was like vehicles involved and there's a lot of like smashing things.
Is this the one that's like kind of like Rocket League, but Rocket League meets Burnout?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I don't know, when you said Destruction All-Stars before earlier, I was like, what? Why? Now I get it.
Yeah, it's a weird name. It's a new IP.
Yes.
That's got a suggested retail price of $69.99. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, $49.99 retail price, which kind of proves that this is going to be like a smaller Uncharted Lost Legacy type game. Then you could also get the Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition, which is at a suggested retail price of $69.99. That includes Spider-Man Remastered. What's Spider-Man Remastered, you said? You say? Well, let's jump into that from the PlayStation blog, who says the remaster for the PS5 is no simple upres, as many of the game's art assets have been completely updated to take advantage of the PlayStation 5's console's horsepower. You'll see better-looking characters with improved skin, eyes, hair, and facial animation, including our new next-generation Peter Parker. You'll also see ray trace reflections and ambient shadows, improved lighting, more pedestrians and vehicles stretching further into the distance, and the same optional performance mode offered on Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, allowing you to finally play the game at a targeted 60 frames per second. We'll be supporting near-instant loading, 3D audio, and the DualSense controller's haptic feedback. Lastly, we're adding 3 new amazing new Spider-Man suits, new photo mode features, and even new trophies for those of you looking to platinum the game all over again.
No. Not again.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this a little while ago. We're good here. We both played. Well, Ahmed platinumed. I didn't get that far. I mean, I beat the game, but I didn't platinum it. So I really enjoyed my time with Spider-Man. I'm good not getting this. I want to play Miles Morales. I'm not a big fan of replaying games. Even though Spider-Man was fantastic, I don't think there's enough there for me to go back and play it again. Miles Morales will scratch that itch perfectly.
So wait, here's something weird that I keep rereading just to make sure. So it says the same optional performance mode offered on Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, allowing you to finally play the game at a targeted 60 FPS. So does that mean that Miles Morales is going to run 4K 30 and not 60, unless you select this performance mode and then it runs at 60?
I would assume so, yes, but we should look that up.
Interesting.
Because that's the same thing, like, even I think Horizon has like a performance versus a resolution mode, right?
Yeah, but that's on PS4 versus PS4 Pro, not an entirely new console.
Right.
I would hope that the brand new console will be able to finally do 4K 60. Interesting. You hate to see it. I mean,
with that
realistically,
hat, all you need is like the monocle, and then you'll be like, detective.
This hat, stop. I mean, realistically, it's probably because they're using the same exact engine from the original game, and it's just a little, not up-resed, as they say, but with better assets and whatnot. But I don't know. I'm hoping that we can stop with this nonsense of performance modes and just give me 60 FPS at 4K.
I agree with you 100%. And not going to say it's happening, but it looks like the Sony PlayStation 5 may be going up for pre-order on Amazon shortly here. Demon Souls was listed.
Interesting.
Which is good stuff.
Yes. And then the last game off of the last game of the launch lineup is Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is US $59.99 suggested retail price. Sackboy is the Little Big Planet spinoff, right? Yes. Okay, cool. And then while I hear you clicking and going to Amazon, accessory pricing has also been announced, obviously. So the DualSense wireless controller standalone will be $69.99, which I guess it sounds expensive, but the previous gen was, I want to say, like $65, so it's really just $5 more. Which is, I mean, it is what it is. They were always expensive. That's just how it is, unfortunately. Get a third party.
It is only
one.
$5 more, but then people are like super pissed off about this, and I'm like, okay.
I saw that and I was like, the PS4 DualShock 4 was not cheap. Like
the DualShock 4 65 MSRP was bullshit to begin with, in my opinion. But yes, I understand why people are upset, but that's like the same price as wasn't the Pro controller when it launched for the Switch this price? I'm pretty sure it was.
I want to say it was 60, like $59.99. I don't remember.
No, because $59 is the discounted price. I'll look it up.
Maybe. But the thing with the controllers is, like, there really aren't that many co-op games or multiplayer, like local multiplayer games on PlayStation. Like, I've only ever needed 2 controllers, and that's just because when one controller's battery dies, I could switch it out and have a freshly charged one. Like, I've never played with 2 PS5 controllers simultaneously on the same system except for, like, Dead or Alive with my nieces and nephews. Like, so, I don't know.
Stupid free-to-play game that you always play.
Yes, because it's fun. They love it. They're like, can we play that fighting game? And I was like, okay.
Oh, no. The Switch Pro controller, by the way, MSRP is $69.99.
Interesting. Okay, so it's the same thing. The Pulse 3D wireless headset with 3D audio support, which is basically dollar store Dolby Atmos. I mean, I'm sure it performs just as well. And dual noise-canceling microphones will be US $99. $99.99. The HD camera.
How many nines was that?
9s. There's a lot of 9s. It's $100. The HD camera is $59.99, which I guess this kind of replaces. When did they stop calling it the PlayStation Eye? It's just PlayStation camera now, right?
Just now, all of a sudden, they're like, it's no longer. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. It's a PlayStation Eye was on PS3.
Got it. Okay. So I guess it's weird. Like, they talk about, so in the description here it says, with dual 1080p lenses for gamers to broadcast themselves along with their epic gameplay moments. So it kind of sounds like they're advertising this specifically for streamers rather than for VR. So I wonder if, like, how will that work with VR?
I don't know, Ahmed. So there's,
because the PSVR is supported on PS5.
Well, right. So there's a couple things that have me scratching my head. There's that, and then there's backwards compatibility, which we'll get to in a minute. Why don't you round this out? We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yes. The Media Remote to navigate movies and streaming services with ease is $29.99. Actually looks kind of nice. Who am I kidding? I have my TV. And then DualSense charging station, which is an official charging station. I don't think they've ever released an official one before. I think it's always been third parties that release, like, their charging stations. But it's a little charging station to charge 2 remotes at the same time. It is $29.99. And then this is the backwards compatibility part, if you want to.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is what's interesting, right? There's like a dual lens on the HD camera, right? Where there's also dual lenses on the Sony camera that you use for your PlayStation VR. So I wonder if, there's some compatibility there, because I don't think that the Sony camera is anything special, or the PlayStation camera that works on the PS4 today.
Yeah,
so
I guess I was imagining that it had more of like a Kinect-ish, like IR things or something, but I guess all it's really looking for is just the lights.
Yeah, so that's what I was looking at, right? Because if I think there's a bunch of microphones on it, but I don't even know. Based on the picture of the PlayStation camera, I guess what they call the HD camera now, it doesn't look like there's anything different. I don't know. So it's interesting, but I guess we'll see. It doesn't say anything about having microphones on it, just that it's a 1080p lenses to broadcast. So I don't know. So we'll see. So one of the frustrating pieces here is there's no talk about PSVR compatibility. They've said in the past that it's going to be compatible with the PS5, but nothing really confirming it. We know that Sony's VR division is incredibly successful. So you would hope that what I'd imagine what's going to happen is they will probably announce the PSVR 2 probably early next year, I'd say, or maybe later this year after launch. Probably early next year, realistically. And then that's when they would talk about, what's coming next. But until then, I'd imagine it'll all just be backwards compatible because I don't think we've seen anything about the back of the PS5 yet, right? Like what connectors are there?
I want to say we did in this video, in the showcase today. It spun around, and I noticed specifically the power plug. It looks like the same exact power plug that they've been using since PS3, which is great news because I have a ton of those. I don't know why, but I have so many of them, so it's great. But I'm surprised that they're able to run the system. I mean, maybe it's different. It just looks very similar.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that they're able. If it is the same, then I'm surprised that that's supplying enough power.
Yeah, in the media remote, by the way, like the media remotes always look so nice, and then it's like,
what's the point?
Yeah,
like I get it when you're like when I watch DVDs or Blu-rays on Xbox, it's annoying to have to wake up the controller, and so having a media remote for the Xbox would be nice, specifically for that reason. But I don't know. I guess if I turn the PS5 into the new this is where I watch my HD Blu-rays or whatever, then maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
So what was interesting? They mentioned in the description for the media remote, it's navigate your movies and streaming services. So what does the launch of the PS5 look like? Does it have Disney Plus at launch? Does it have Netflix, Hulu, everything that you would normally watch at launch?
I would assume so.
It's fun to assume, but I remember when Xbox couldn't even play Blu-rays at launch because the Blu-ray player wasn't there. The Blu-ray player app wasn't ready.
Oh,
and that came after the Xbox One launch. It's a mess.
Well, that's because Xbox has to license that stuff. Sony, it's all in-house. Sony owns Blu-ray.
Right.
So I guess I'm assuming... which is funny, because why didn't they put 4K Blu-ray on the PS4? Who knows?
Well, yeah, and that's... Well, yeah. But, so, now moving into the backwards compatible thing, once again, not a single word about it. So, Jim Ryan did confirm that, quote, of the thousands of games tested for PS4 backwards compatibility, quote, 99% can be played on the next console. And that came from a Washington Post interview that came out today.
Yeah, I've always had no kind of doubt that the only games that wouldn't be compatible are really rare, underground indie, not necessarily optimized games in general. I don't know. I guess
Can you describe one of these underground games you're talking about?
I wouldn't know them.
Games?
Random games on the PlayStation Store, PSN or whatever. All those random arcade games. Maybe Dead or Alive won't work. That's a minor loss. It's okay.
You just said your niece and nephews are obsessed with it.
They can play Mortal Kombat 10 now that it's free on PlayStation Plus Collection.
Nice.
They won't know the difference. Yep.
They won't know the difference? It's so much more gory.
It is. It's fine. But yeah, I'm not concerned with this at all, given, at least for me personally, the games that I play on PlayStation are almost always the big first party titles, and I think all of those are probably the first ones that they tested. So I think it'll be fine. I don't think that this is cause for concern.
So yeah, I agree with you. My head's kind of at where the 1% is probably going to be maybe those off weird, really strange games that for some reason just don't work or don't work well, or it's the games that require some peripheral that is not supported. So
also something because the DualSense doesn't have a gyroscope or accelerometer, does it?
I don't know,
because I'm thinking games because the DualShock 4 obviously has an accelerometer. Rarely any games use it, but there are a few that do, and those probably won't be supported because they don't have the tilt functionality, which is kind of crucial to the game. But that was Wipeout. Was that on PS3? What am I thinking of? Remember that racing game? It's F-Zero but fake.
Oh, yeah. Is it Wipeout? Yeah, I think
it's called Wipeout. But was that on PS3 or was that on PS4? Because I remember that using the tilt control.
It's Wipeout Omega Collection, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's on PS4. That's what you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Wipeout. Yeah, but the E is capitalized for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool and futuristic.
Was also free on PlayStation Plus.
Was also free, but I imagine that probably wouldn't work with the new DualSense, unless I'm wrong. Maybe the DualSense does support tilt. I don't think it does though.
I don't know.
DualSense.
While you're looking that up, On the topic of backwards compatibility, so upgradable PS4 versions are coming, and Ahmed kind of alluded to this before. Hidden within the PlayStation blog post, I pulled out a quote straight from there that said, from PlayStation themselves, additionally, we know that the PS4 community will transition to PS5 at different times, and we're happy to announce the PS4 versions of some of our exclusives, Marvel, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, and Horizon Forbidden West will also launch on PS4. While these 3 games were designed to take advantage of PS5 and its unique next-gen features like the ultra-high-speed SSD and DualSense controller, PS4 owners will also be able to enjoy these experiences when they launch. The PS4 digital versions of launch games include a free upgrade on both PlayStation 5 consoles, while the PS4 disc versions of these games include a free upgrade on the PS5 with Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive. So
good news. The DualSense does have motion controls.
Oh, that's good.
I went on that whole tirade for nothing. But I am excited about the USB-C. I'm now looking up USB-C cables on Amazon.
Yes. Thank God the PlayStation 5 has USB-C on it.
Yes. It'll be nice to finally charge the controller while I'm sitting next to the plug with a USB cord on it. I just need to get longer ones. All my USB-C cords are like 3 feet. And I'm like, this is for ants. I need length.
For ants? So going back to the PS4 versions and that little blurb there, so that's super interesting. Now those 3 games, which Horizon Forbidden West, probably one of the biggest ones, that tells me that it's coming sooner rather than later, but it also kind of throws things out the window when you talk about PS5 exclusives, which is kind of disappointing because that's kind of what Sony was touting for a while.
I mean, it's almost like they're delivering on the promise that Microsoft made and then threw away like the week later, where they were like, all, first-party Microsoft games for the next 2 years into the Xbox Series X life cycle will be playable on Xbox One, and then they weren't. But this is kind of, I guess, a convoluted way of doing it because you buy the PS4 version and then you get an upgrade to the PS5 version versus kind of the same game just playing at different settings on 2 different consoles. With Xbox, at least. So, or maybe, I don't know, maybe that's not how Smart Delivery works. Maybe it is kind of the same idea, but you just have to maybe download a different version of the game. But
so the tricky part for me is, like, let's say you're on a PS4 that automatically has a disc drive, and then I'm going to upgrade to a PS5, but I only want the digital one. And then you get the digital version.
Then you wouldn't get the PS5 version.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is just weird. It'll be very interesting. It's the same kind of behavior, or the same kind of thoughts we had when PS4 Pro and Xbox One X first came out, where it's like, okay, well, what is this half step? Like, how are we going to have games that still run on the base system, but also the upgraded system? And it's, a little weird.
And they do you get those like quality versus performance modes, which was fine for a half step, but is still weird, I guess, for a different generation. But
agreed.
Miles Morales being kind of cross-generation in the sense that it's like, I don't know, I guess it's PlayStation's like Zelda, Twilight Princess, or even Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
But I guess Twilight Princess had a bigger generational leap than Breath of the Wild did. I think Wii U and Switch are very in line with in terms of capability. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. I think the digital version of the PS5 is worth it, more so if this is your first entry into the PlayStation ecosystem, as opposed to if you already own a bunch of games on PS4, specifically disc versions. I think the PS5 disc version is the way to go. So we'll see what happens. We'll see which ones sell out, how the sales do, if this is artificial demand or supply, whatever.
Yeah, so new systems always sell out, like, without a doubt. I mean, they could have announced a $700 system and it still would have sold out, I think.
I think I mean just like in terms of which one will sell out quicker or which one will be harder to find. And it looks like it's going to be a digital version, but is that just because of they literally developed less, or is it because it's more so in demand? Who knows?
Right. So it's really interesting. They're just looking on Twitter right now. There are Best Buy's trending, GameStop is trending, and people are literally losing their minds trying to get a PS5.
And it's going to happen again next week because Xbox pre-orders go up the 22nd. And was it you that mentioned that like Walmart is going to do a second wave of PS5 pre-orders on the 22nd or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Walmart or if it was GameStop that said that, but GameStop had mentioned some sort of second wave of pre-orders as well. So I guess
maybe they're going to see which their stupid bundles don't sell. They're just going to take back the stock.
Oh my God, literally. Which is just we'll see what happens, but it's It'll certainly be
Realistically,
interesting. I'm curious to see how the Series X sells versus the Series S. So which one will sell out quicker? What does that look like as they go up for pre-order?
now that the Series S is kind of almost competing with the all digital PS5, which is a fully featured console as opposed to, well, not that Series S is not fully featured, but not fully powerful.
Right.
So we'll see. We'll see how the cookie crumbles. But all in all, very, very exciting time to be a gamer. You got the new RTX cards coming out tomorrow. I can't wait to not sleep tonight so I can make sure I get one. We got the PlayStation 5. We got the Xbox Series X. We got rumors of a Switch Pro coming. Not this year, but eventually. Very, very exciting times.
Yes, they are very exciting times indeed.
All right.
And you forgot about the boxes. Come on, Ahmed.
We got to do what?
The boxes.
Oh, I was going to move on. I didn't think you were serious. So
anyway, the PS5 boxes were revealed, and Ahmed was talking about all this other bullshit news that he forgot the important news. So
yes, the important news, the box. The disc version is white, and the digital version is black. And that's about it. It has an 8K logo on the top, alongside the 4K 120, I think that's what that says. And then HDR logo, and that's really it. I mean, I guess the box looks nice. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I think the PlayStation, the 500 million edition is my favorite. That one's a nice box. I still have it.
I wish we had a clear PS5. That'd be really cool.
Oh, I wish
or
we had
an Xbox One X or an Xbox Series X would be really cool.
A clear one?
Yeah,
that would be.
Yeah.
I think the PS5 should come out in a black version, but that's just me.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
they will.
With the Wii.
It's inevitable.
Because remember the Wii and all the launch materials, they showed off the black version, and then when it actually launched, it was all white, and I'm like, wait, I wanted the black one.
And they also showed that light on the disc tray, but it never lit up, like unless you got like a notification. And there's rumor that you'd be able to light it up at like all times.
Ugh, I wanted it to light up. It looks so good. Ugh. Anyways,
yeah, there was you could like send a message to yourself to get it to light up, but it was just.
So it was just like blink. It wasn't like it didn't just stay on.
Yeah, it was a total hassle to do it.
Oh, and sending messages. I remember like I would send like messages to random people, and it was like such a hassle typing with the little pointer. But it was cool at the time. It was 2005.
It was. It was très chic.
Très chic indeed. All right, so we got, I guess, a hodgepodge of like random other news that's happened in the past week that I thought was important to mention for you, our fans, who come to us, your trusted news source. But Paul was like, no. But it's fine. We'll talk about them now in the less than 7 minutes. So we got an update on the Apple, Apple versus Epic argument. So obviously, if you haven't been following along, they got Epic tried to put Fortnite V-Bucks at a discounted price in their store, and Apple was like no, and they took down Fortnite, and then they took down and terminated Epic's developer account. Thankfully, this did not affect Unreal at all. So Unreal Engine and all the rest of like Epic's tools are totally safe. So that's good. This mainly affected Epic Games. And they will not be able, this is a new development now, they will not be able to reapply for the Apple Developer Program for at least 1 year. Epic did file a preliminary injunction last week to overturn this ban. Assuming no changes, it's unlikely Fortnite returns to iOS before August 2021, which is a big yikes. All that so that they can get $1 extra of profit on V-Bucks. You hate to see it.
Yeah, so, I mean, drag them around and make an example out of them, right? I mean, I fully get it. They're looking to break down barriers, but they wanted to dig their heels in the ground. I thought the video that they made was cute based on Apple's original Macintosh promotion, or commercial, excuse me. I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was cool. I thought it was bold, and now they needed to be ready for the repercussions, and here are the repercussions, and they're getting their asses handed to them.
Yep.
And Apple is going to dig their heels into the ground because Apple's got big heels.
Mm-hmm. I don't think for them to have expected Apple to change their mind, I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I wonder what's going to happen with Google. Well, I guess Google Play doesn't really matter because you can download Fortnite through any other
Galaxy store as well. Yeah, the Galaxy Store, and you could
directly from the website. Yeah. So it doesn't even matter. But interesting nonetheless. So you have an iPhone, you're an avid Fortnite gamer, it's time to get an Xbox Series S, I guess.
Yeah, truly.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot of pissed off parents out there. There's got to be. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of kids that game on their phone.
Yes.
Or an iOS device.
And then we're like, well, now I have to get an Xbox. And kids are like,
Oh
what?
my gosh.
Um,
You have an Xbox at home, and it's their phone.
Xbox at home is the iPhone 7.
Stop.
Ubisoft Forward happened last week, late last week. And of the announcements, the two really big announcements are Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Was it the trilogy? It wasn't just the first game. I think it was just the first game.
No, it's just Sands of Time. That's not
Yes.
that's not the first game. That's the
Yes, it is.
Is the first game? Yeah, it
Of
is
the
first
trilogy,
game.
yeah. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time is getting remastered from the ground up. It looks great. I don't think we got a... Did we get a release date?
2021, January 21st, 2021.
Perfect. Great.
Coming out to Switch as well.
That it is coming to Switch. Will launch on PS4 and Xbox One, and will also be playable on Xbox Series X and S and PS5 via backwards compatibility, and PC via Epic Game Store, Ubisoft Store, and Uplay. It's not coming to Switch, no.
Anyways, when I'm spreading fake news, who had it up?
I would have been hyped if it was coming to Switch. It'd be the perfect Switch game. But
You know who did it? Yes. While Ubisoft hasn't officially announced the Nintendo Switch version, you can already pre-order it at GameStop.
you can pre-order the Switch version, anyways.
Though it's
GameStop-
slated for a later date. That's that.
GameStop's fake. And then the other big announcement was, if I can find it in this list so I can talk more about it instead of making up lies.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, complete edition.
There we go. It is revives the classic beat 'em up about love and music in a 2D pixel art Toronto, coming holiday 2020 for PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia. The online enabled re-release includes the original game as well as its original DLC, and adds two playable characters as well as mini games, dodgeball, and PvP. I don't know. I never played this original, but it looks cute, and people are big fans of it. So exciting times.
So a couple things on this. So this was a super, super popular game when it came out. It had a cult following, just like the movie, and it is like a classic side-scrolling beat-em-up game. And what happened was it got delisted. So I forget what it was. It was copyright issues with music or whatever it was. But the game got delisted from all the stores, and it was like impossible to get a hold of because it was delisted. So now they've announced this new one, but they haven't announced any physical copies. So people are like very cautiously optimistic and hesitant to buy it because they're like, okay, well, it's just going to get delisted in a few years again because copyright issues don't just go away. They always crop back up again. So
Interesting. Well, if there's a physical edition, you better buy it because then it's going to be worth millions of dollars later on. So who knows?
Right. So invest now.
Invest now. This is your official financial advice column.
877 cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth. Finally, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a small update. So I think we talked about previously how we were disappointed that it wasn't like kind of a full remaster or any kind of up-resing or any kind of enhancements to the game besides it being like widescreen supported for all three of the games. It turns out it's actually emulated, which I thought was strange because usually emulators are on the hardware that you're playing on, not on the cartridge. But it turns out that the Galaxy and Super Mario Sunshine are running on a Wii/GameCube emulator because again, the Wii could play GameCube games. It's very similar architecture, and Mario 64 is running on an N64 emulator. So very interesting because if they have those emulators and they run these games well, maybe it's time to release N64 Online, a la NES Online and Super Nintendo Online, GameCube Online. Who knows? Who's to say?
So there was somebody that found source code in the emulator that referred back to a bunch of other games, like Mario Kart 64, like specifically a bunch of N64 games, like Mario Kart 64, Kirby, like I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them. I have to pull up the tweet, but
Yeah.
Suggesting that a Nintendo 64 Online may be coming about. But then somebody was like, no, this was pulled straight from like the Wii U, where those were games that were compatible with the Wii U N64 Virtual Console. So who knows? Take it with a grain of salt. Maybe, just maybe, the N64 Online is going to happen.
But I mean, if Virtual Console is already ready on Wii U, I feel like it's just a no-brainer at this point. Like, please, just give us the games. We want to play the old games.
Right. We keep complaining, yet I've like never played any of the old games.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, oh wow, NES Online's so cool, and I played like the first Mario once.
It's just nice to know that they're there.
Yes, it's very comforting. Two more things. Oculus Quest 2 was announced today, which is the all-in-one VR headset. Does not require a PC. You just put it on and you can play games. and it's available for a crazy price of $299. It's cheaper than the original Oculus Quest by $100. And improves on it in every way. I think they up the resolution and changed kind of the layout, and it looks a lot more comfortable and whatnot. This is really cool if you're kind of looking for an entry level VR, and then if you have a PC that's powerful enough to run kind of Oculus Rift games, which require a little more horsepower, you can get a Oculus Link cable and just plug it into a USB port, and suddenly you have more powerful games on your face. But it is portable, and it lasts 2 hours on a battery. So I don't know, it's super cool if you're into VR. It seems to be a really cool entry point, as opposed to Oculus Rift being $500 plus, or Vive being like $700, because it's all in one thing. You don't need any fancy cameras or any additional space to put those cameras. That was my issue with the original Rift that I got and returned promptly. But yeah, that's cool. And then what's this last thing? The partner showcase?
So there is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow, for those of you that don't know. Now, temper your expectations. It's one of those partner showcases, so it'll showcase third-party games. Now, last time they did this, they did talk about Cadence of Hyrule and some DLC for that, which was kind of cool. So, I don't know. We'll see.
It is a mini also.
Yeah, all the partner showcases. It's like they showcase like 3 games, essentially.
Yes.
So. Still
We'll
cool.
see.
I don't know. I'll keep my ears open, my eyes. They'll both be open.
My ears, my eyes, my third eye, my soul, my chakras, open.
Your chakras?
Yeah, you got to keep them open. Got to keep them clear.
What's
All right.
chakra?
You got to keep your chakras clear so you can get the pre-orders. Come on. That's the secret. He's like, oh,
gotcha.
yes. Yeah, of course.
I see.
All right. Well, this has been...
See with my chakras.
Paul? Kill you.
I'm
This has been another
trying to
riveting
just-
episode of What the Funcast. Thank you all
Trying
for
to talk
tuning
like
in.
the cool kids, man. Leave me
Paul,
alone.
you're not a cool kid. You never
Wow.
will be. As long as you're on this podcast, you can't be a cool kid.
The disdain.
I'm also
disgusting.
not a cool kid. I'm dragging myself in this.
All right, Ahmed is trying to wrap up, and I just keep interrupting him. So,
Yes, this has been episode 91. Go pre-order your PS5s. If you haven't already, then I don't know. I guess you're out of luck. Figure it out.
yeah.
Go on
There's
Twitter.
nothing to say there.
Twitter's a good source of finding out when the pre-orders are coming up.
Right?
But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going Looney Tunes, I guess. Thanks all for tuning in, and we will chat with you next week with, I don't know, I guess there's nothing. Last week it was like, oh, we're going to come in with the prices next week, and we did. Now, we'll see. Maybe something will happen.
Who knows?
It's more exciting.
Maybe we'll dance.
Maybe we'll shout.
All right. Anyways,
This is Paul and Ahmed. Oh, what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Just a couple times you
been-
stole mine, so every once in a while I like to threaten you a little bit. Keep you on your toes.
It's fine. I'm always on my toes. This has been episode 91 of What the Funcast. This is Paul and Ahmed signing off.
Peace.